Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain a new drama. Our female lead's name is Cha Moo-hee, and she is a very successful celebrity. At this time, she has gone abroad to shoot an international project. While performing in a show there, she reaches a very high point in her career. After putting in a lot of energy, she is supposed to have some interaction with her co-star. This is where we are shown a studio scene. Her translator is sitting there, and this translator is actually the male lead of the drama. His name is Hoojin. Since it is an international project, different languages are required, which is why Hoojin stays connected with her at all times. That day, the same thing is happening again. The project is with a Japanese actor named Kurosawa. They have already completed the shoot, but during the ending segment, the two of them have a short interaction while a show is ongoing. Kurosawa says that today, the scenery looks especially beautiful, more beautiful than usual. Everything he says is being translated by Hoojin. His translation is so impressive that it feels like he isn't just translating words, but emotions as well. While talking, Kurosawa goes a bit too far. He says that he has seen this scene many times before, but today it looks more beautiful because Cha Moo-hee is part of it. Then he openly confesses, saying that he loves her and likes her very much. Here, I'd like to request you to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Now, coming back to our story, Cha Moo-hee waits for her translator to tell her what the man in front of her is saying, but Hoojin stays silent. He almost freezes. He doesn't know whether he should translate the confession or not. Deep down, he may like Cha Moo-hee himself, but when everyone starts looking at him, he has no choice. He finally says, "Ms. Cha Moo-hee, he has confessed his love to you." Hearing this, Cha Moo-hee is completely shocked, and the scene immediately shifts. We are taken 1 year back into a flashback. This is a time when Hoojin is not working for Cha Moo-hee and hasn't even met her yet. He is working as an interpreter for a novelist at a conference. His translation is excellent, and at the end, the writer thanks him and gives him a gift. The writer admits that he often drinks too much, loses control, and says inappropriate things, but Hoojin always manages the translation so skillfully that the writer doesn't want any other interpreter. After the job is done, Hoojin goes out alone, wandering through memories, and ends up at a very old, traditional restaurant hidden in narrow streets. At the same time, Cha Moo-hee arrives in Japan. Back then, she is a struggling actress. Calling her a celebrity would be inaccurate, because no one recognizes her. While Hoojin is traveling by train, Cha Moo-hee happens to be on the same train. He starts remembering his past, especially a girl who seems to be his first love. He feels like he may have met her for the first time on this very train. Meanwhile, Cha Moo-hee is heartbroken. She has come to Japan to confront something, to seek answers, and possibly revenge. While reading a post, she reaches a restaurant, which turns out to be her destination. She wants to find out why her boyfriend broke up with her and which woman caused it. She has learned that he left her because of a chef working at this restaurant. However, the language barrier is severe. She tries using a translation app, but it doesn't work properly. It fails to convey her emotions and tone. Frustrated and angry, she says many harsh things and even throws in a couple of curses, believing that no one around understands her language. What she doesn't realize is that Hoojin is sitting right next to her. He's holding a brochure, pretending to read a different language. Later, she realizes it's Korean. She accuses him of pretending not to understand so he could listen to her story, sarcastically saying that he must be enjoying the drama of her broken heart. At that moment, a child suddenly falls ill. The child is with a tourist family who don't speak the local language. They are Italian. Hoojin immediately steps in, translates for them, helps during the emergency, and even escorts the child to the ambulance. Before leaving, he gives the child's mother her number in case she needs further translation help. In the rush, he leaves his belongings with Cha Moo-hee.
When he returns, Chamuhee is waiting for him. She apologizes for misunderstanding him and asks if he can help translate for her because her situation has become very difficult. Hoojin agrees, but firmly says he will not translate insults. She accepts.
Inside the restaurant, Chamuhee realizes that the woman she thought was her boyfriend's lover is not the one. Instead, another chef appears, and she is pregnant. Chamuhee is stunned. Her boyfriend broke up with her 3 months ago, yet this woman is 7 months pregnant. That means he didn't just break up with her, he cheated on her. Overwhelmed, Chamuhee runs out without saying anything. The pregnant woman then explains to Hoojan that the man Chamuhee calls her boyfriend was actually her first love. However, the baby is not his. It belongs to her ex-husband, whom she is now divorced from. She admits that this is a very difficult time for her. Hoojan goes outside and explains everything to Chamuhee. He tells her that her boyfriend's child is not the woman's, that the breakup has already happened, and that chasing the truth further will only reopen her wounds. He advises her to move on and stop doubting them. Chamuhee becomes angry. She argues that she traveled so far, endured the language barrier, and suffered so much. Was that not love? Why does her love seem invisible while theirs is considered real? She asks him to go back inside with her because she still wants to talk. Hoojan says he knows she wants to release her anger and that she doesn't need a translator to break things, but Chamuhee insists that she wants to talk calmly. Back inside, Chamuhee says harsh things, accusing the woman of stealing her boyfriend by playing a sympathy game. Hoojan softens the translation, choosing gentle words instead. The pregnant woman, however, becomes furious and responds sharply. She reveals that she and the man are each other's first love, that he fell for her when he came to Japan to study, and that later she lost him because another woman appeared, portraying herself as helpless, lonely, and broken. At this moment, it becomes clear that both women are accusing each other of the same thing, being a third wheel and manipulating sympathy. Hoojan starts translating, but Chamuhee stops him. She says she understands everything now. She doesn't need words anymore. She has read the emotions. She's afraid she'll cry in front of them and lose her dignity. Hoojan gently pulls her into his shoulder as she quietly cries behind him. Hoojan tells the pregnant woman that Chamuhee only came to talk and even brought a gift for her. He scolds her for being so rude. The gift he gives her is the same one the novelist had given him earlier. After that, Hoojan and Chamuhee leave. Outside, Chamuhee asks if the gift was expensive and offers to pay for it. She thanks him for saving her dignity. Hoojan tells her it's nothing, and they part ways. After walking a little further, Chamuhee hears a phone ringing in her pocket. It isn't hers. It's Hoojan's phone, which she forgot to return. She runs back and gives it to him. The call is from the Italian woman, who thanks him and tells him that the child is fine. As a token of gratitude, she offers them a fully paid dinner reservation. Hoojan hesitates but accepts the gift. He then asks Chamuhee if she would like to join him for dinner. She agrees, saying it's better than eating alone. Since there's time before dinner, they decide to walk around. While strolling, Chamuhee talks about herself. She says she's an actress who's worked in many projects, but only in very short roles, so no one recognizes her. She mentions that she's about to reach 10,000 followers on Instagram and jokingly asks him to follow her to help complete the milestone. Near the sea, they stop to admire a beautiful view. Chamuhee asks if he has been there before. He says yes, many times. She senses he has a love story of his own and asks him to share it. Initially, he refuses, saying there's no reason to share personal things with a stranger, but she replies that it's easier to share with strangers since they'll never meet again. Hoojan finally tells her about a woman who once asked him for an entire island as a gift. It's her birthday today, and he came to celebrate it, but she celebrates her birthdays with someone else now. As they search for the restaurant, a train passes between them and the gates close. At that moment, Hoojan receives an important call. He has to go find someone at the same place they had just left. He tells Chamuhee to go ahead alone, enjoy dinner, and not wait for him. Chamuhee encourages him to go and test his love and his life.
As the train passes, Ujan disappears from sight. Chamuhi feels a small sense of regret. She didn't even take his number. She wonders if he'll ever follow her on Instagram or if this really was their last meeting, destined to remain anonymous. Later, Chamuhi returns to her country. She's offered a low-budget movie with a lead role, which she happily accepts. For the first time, she's the main character. It's a horror movie, and her character's name is Dorami. Due to budget issues, the stunt woman quits, and Chamuhi decides to perform the stunt herself. Everything goes well during the shoot, but afterward, her harness breaks and she falls from a building. As she falls, her vision fills with flashes like fireworks. It feels as if they're celebrating her death. Her eyes close. She wakes up in a hospital bed surrounded by doctors and staff. Media coverage begins immediately. After months in a coma, Dorami has regained consciousness. She becomes famous not only in Korea, but in many countries, as her character is loved worldwide. She has finally become a true celebrity, a lead actress. All her dreams have come true in what feels like the blink of an eye. She has millions of followers. Her hospital room is filled with gifts, and people crowd around her. And somewhere else, Ujan is watching the news about her recovery. With this, the part ends. To find out what happens next, stay connected.
We are shown a flashback. Actually, when Hujan met Chamuhi in Japan, he stayed overseas for almost 3 months because of his trip. And as soon as he entered Korea, his driver asked him, "Have you ever met a celebrity before?" The truth is, there was a huge crowd at the airport because of a celebrity. And the moment Hujan heard the word celebrity, the only person that came to his mind was Chamuhi. He immediately opened her Instagram and checked her profile. At that time, she was just about to reach 10,000 followers. She only had 1 follow request left, and Hujan ended up following her. And along with that, he also found out that she had gone for the shooting of a horror movie. Deep down, he wished that this movie would become a huge success for her. And at that exact moment, fireworks started lighting up the sky. This was the same time when she was filming her final scene, and she fell down from the rooftop. Well, now Chamuhi had finally recovered completely, and she was being invited to many events. Her life had changed overnight. She felt like she had died and then gone straight to heaven. Life felt like a fairy tale to her. To her, that fall was almost equal to death, and now she was living a brand new life, enjoying her celebration at its peak. She started going to different places, interviews, shows, photo shoots, and everywhere she went, people absolutely loved her. But sometimes her old habits returned. She would suddenly worry, "This dress is so expensive, what if it gets ruined?" But her manager would tell her, "Now you are Dorami. Not only can you wear all this, you can even ruin it. It won't matter at all." And when she checked her Instagram for the first time, she realized she was about to hit 10 million followers. But this is where something strange happened for the first time. One day, she looked into the mirror, and it felt like Dorami was sitting right in front of her, laughing at her. She immediately became nervous. She hid it from everyone. It was a hallucination. On the other side, we are shown Hujan. His house was nothing less than a farmhouse, huge and beautiful, left behind for him by his grandfather. And along with that, the house was filled with countless books, so rare they were considered antiques. Hujan mostly stayed overseas for trips, so his uncle often used the house as a guest house and earned a lot of money from it. They say, "The house is empty anyway. It's good that people come in and out. It stays lively." All those books were actually under his mother's name. Hujan would say, "Call mom back from overseas so she can take her books with her." But his uncle replied, "For that, we would need an entire ship. She won't come that easily. Why don't you get married? Maybe she'll return because of your wedding." And then Hujan finds out that his relatives and close people have started suspecting him. They think he has been dating that celebrity who is now famous as Dorami. Actually, Chamuhi had posted a photo on Instagram from Japan, and in that photo, Hujan was also standing there.
It was only his side pose, but the people close to him had already recognized him. He got tired of explaining to everyone, "Nothing happened. I was not on a trip with that girl, and I have nothing to do with that celebrity." He even tried pretending in front of his friends, saying, "Wow, doesn't that guy look so much like me?" But they replied, "Don't try to fool us. We'd recognize you even if you were wearing a mask." One day, he was watching a TV show that Chamuhi was hosting, and that's when the thought came to his mind, "Maybe I should try to meet her once." And then, finally, the day arrived. Chamuhi had an interview with an international magazine, and an interpreter had been arranged, and that interpreter turned out to be none other than Hujan himself. The moment she heard his voice, she was completely shocked. She turned around to look at him, and she wanted to start talking immediately, but she had to stay reserved in front of everyone. During the interview, people asked her, "There's a photo on your Instagram. People say that guy might have been your romantic boyfriend." But she replied, "Nothing like that. He was just a stranger who helped me." However, she did say softly, in direct words, that whenever she goes somewhere, she always thinks that maybe on some unknown road, she might see a handsome stranger again, and her heart would start racing. Hearing this, Hujan, sitting behind her, started blushing too. After that, he told her manager that he needed 2 minutes to talk to Chamuhi. Please let him meet her. At that time, she was sitting in her van eating her food. Her schedule was so tight that she barely even got proper time to eat. They had only just said hello when they reached the next venue. She was already late for the interview there, so she had to get out of the car immediately. But while leaving, she said to him, "It will take 2 hours. Can you wait for me?" And he replied, "I can." Now, as they were getting ready for the interview for that TV show, the manager's headphones were lying right there. He stepped outside for a moment, and because of that, everything being discussed inside the makeup room became audible outside. Inside, the staff were openly saying things like, "That interpreter today was really handsome. Isn't he the same guy from your Instagram photo? We recognized him immediately." But Chamuhi quickly replied, "It's not like you all are thinking. He was just a stranger." Yes, however, it was true that she had spent a very beautiful day with him. She did have feelings somewhere in her heart, and deep down, Hujan could probably sense it too. Well, the interview ends, and after that, Hujan starts looking for Chamuhi, and just then, she comes and stands right beside him. She didn't want anyone to recognize her. In fact, as she was walking with him, she even said, "People recognize Dorami more than they recognize me. If I put on my horror makeup, maybe then they'll recognize me properly." It was very cold there, so Hujan took off his scarf and gave it to her. Then he said, "Why don't we have dinner together?" The same dinner that had been left pending, and she immediately agrees to go to dinner with him. She asks him, "You said you wanted to tell me something. Go ahead, say it." And Hujan says, "What I wanted to say is, that Instagram photo of yours, the one where I'm visible, please delete it." Chamuhi is completely shocked. She's thinking, he finally got the chance to meet me again, and this is what he wants to talk about, deleting a photo? Hujan explains, "I searched for you on purpose. I even took this interpreter job because I wanted to meet you. There was no other way. And the people close to me have already recognized me. So for your sake, so that you don't face any trouble later, it would be better if you delete it." Chamuhi takes out her phone. She's just about to delete the photo, but then she stops and says, "If I delete it, people will become even more suspicious. It will look like I became famous, so I dumped my old boyfriend, and then people will chase you even more." And right here, because of stress, something slips out of Hujan's mouth. He says, "Can't the date of the post be changed somehow?" And then, suddenly, Chamuhi understands. That girl, his first love, that day was her birthday, and that's why he had gone to that spot, the place connected to their memories. He didn't want that girl to find out that he had gone there, and he also didn't want any misunderstanding that he had become someone else's boyfriend. After hearing this, Chamuhi feels angry at first, but then she convinces herself and says, "Think carefully. Decide properly whether you want it deleted or not." Hujan replies, "All right, I'll think about it, and then I'll message your manager and let him know." As she is leaving, Hujan stretches out his hand towards her, and she instantly places her hand in his. But actually, he was just asking for his scarf back. That moment was awkward in the most romantic way possible. While returning, she also finds out that her manager seems to know him quite well. The manager explains, "Mr. Ju Hujan used to come to the ward often, just to see you. That was when you were in an 8-person ward. Your movie hadn't even been released yet. Your financial conditions were very bad back then. He came because he read in the news that Chamuhi, a small actress, had fallen from a rooftop and gotten injured, and he took a lot of care of you. During that time, I interacted with him, but later, when you became famous, you were shifted to the VIP ward, and after that, he stopped coming." All right, now after this, we are shown Hujan's side of the story. The girl he once liked was named Sujan, and before he could ever confess, express his love, or even propose, he realized he was already too late. His closest friend had become her boyfriend, and just like that, his love story ended before it even began. Even after all these years, Hujan remained single, stuck in Sujan's memories. Meanwhile, Chamuhi asked her manager for Hujan's card. She kept looking at it again and again. Eventually, she memorized the number. To inform him about it, she called him. But at the same time, she gave her manager another task. She asked him to find a girl whose birthday fell on the same date when she had posted that photo. While Chamuhi was still on the call, her manager found the girl and said she was a producer. Unfortunately, Hujan heard all of this on the phone. That's when embarrassment hit her hard.
She told him she wanted to explain everything in person and showed up outside his house. Nervously, she said he must think she was a stalker. Hyujin replied honestly, of course he would think that. Chamuhi admitted she was extremely embarrassed. She promised she'd try not to check the girl's Instagram profile, but also admitted she probably still would. Then she added that curiosity wasn't just her problem. He had checked on her too. After all, he used to visit her at the hospital even when they were just strangers. Hyujin told her that if she kept digging around, the news would eventually reach that girl. It would be better if he just told her everything himself. He invited her inside, saying it was too cold outside. Once inside, he shared his love story. Before he could ever confess, the girl had already become his friend's girlfriend. For years, he kept visiting the same island in her memory, the island she once wanted as a birthday gift. Not a bouquet, an entire island. Chamuhi asked if he had gone there that day hoping to meet her again. He clarified that he only went because his friend asked him to, and that there was nothing between them anymore. Chamuhi softly said that if they'd gone to dinner together that day, and if that girl wasn't in his life anymore, maybe something could have happened between them. Maybe they could have been in a relationship. But Hyujin shut it down gently, saying that whether they went to dinner or not, a relationship between them was simply not possible. That completely broke her heart. She almost cried, but covered it up by saying she had caught the flu from standing in the cold. She quietly wiped away her tears and her nose, trying not to lose her dignity. Before leaving, she tried to save face by joking that she was just checking whether, now that she was a big celebrity, he might try to take advantage of her because of her past secret. Then she said her confusion was finally cleared. They both accepted that they probably wouldn't meet again. Later, Chamuhi attends an award show. There, she experiences a frightening moment. She hallucinates Dorami walking toward her and pushing her. She almost falls, but Kurosawa catches her in time. But Chamuhi is terrified. She goes straight to Hyujin, the one person who already knows her secrets. Sitting in front of him, she breaks down crying.
She reminds him of what he once told her, that even if they couldn't be together, he would always cheer for her from somewhere in the crowd, clapping for her happiness because her celebration had just begun. Now, through tears, she tells him she feels like her celebration is coming to an end. She feels like she's losing her mind. And with that emotional breakdown...
So guys, these days, Cha Moo-hee had come to Japan because of an award show, and the hotel she was staying in, Hoo-jun was staying there too. Because honestly, in dramas, coincidence is basically a full-time employee. Whenever she feels anxious, she immediately goes to him to share her worries. She had a language barrier and needed to see a doctor. So she tells him, "It's late at night, I can't sleep, I'm really stressed. Please take me to a doctor." Hoo-jun uses his connections and takes her to a psychiatrist. The doctor asks her many questions, and Hoo-jun translates everything back and forth. That's when we learn how tragic her childhood was. Her parents died in an accident, and after that, her grandparents and uncle abandoned her, blaming her mother for the crash. She grew up completely alone. On top of that, she had an accident as a child, and recently she even fell from a tall building. The doctor says she might have a head injury and advises her to first see a neurosurgeon and then return for psychiatric treatment, if needed. Later, Cha Moo-hee feels embarrassed in front of Hoo-jun. She says, "I confess to you, got rejected, and now you know all my secrets too." Hoo-jun is worried and tells her that Dorami has gotten too deep into her mind, and she should avoid social gatherings. But Cha Moo-hee snaps back, telling him to keep his advice to himself because she finally has time to celebrate and wants to enjoy it. They both think they won't meet again, but fate clearly had other plans. A new international show is being planned, shot in many countries. They need an amazing interpreter, and surprise, it's Hoo-jun. He was recommended by none other than his first love, Shin Soo-jin, who now works as a producer. Hoo-jun gets nervous because no matter how much he tries to avoid Shin, she keeps appearing in his life. Shin's boyfriend, Na-jin, is not only Hoo-jun's friend, but also his stepbrother. Seeing them together hurts him deeply because he never truly moved on from his first love. Then he finds out they're planning to get married next month, so he thinks it's better to stay abroad for 3 months and miss the wedding, because honestly, nobody wants to watch their heartbreak in HD. Meanwhile, Cha Moo-hee's red carpet moment with Kurosawa goes viral. The producers decided that if Kurosawa is the hero, then why not cast Cha Moo-hee as the heroine too? Her image was mostly thriller and horror, but they hoped mixing them would create a hit combination. When Hoo-jun arrives for interviews as interpreter, he runs into Cha Moo-hee again. He realizes she's being cast as the female lead. But during her introduction, she suddenly sees Dorami and gets extremely nervous. The producers start whispering, wondering how her movie became successful when she can't even speak properly. Cha Moo-hee hears everything and falls deeper into depression. Her scans come out normal, and it's time for psychiatric treatment, but she refuses medicine, thinking she can fight it herself. Hoo-jun scolds her, saying she needs proper treatment. He tells her she looked terrified in the interview and questions how she can do a romantic role like this. His words are harsh, and Cha Moo-hee gets furious. She tells him to leave the show, accusing him of knowing all her secrets and taking the project only because of Shin's recommendation. They fight, and Hoo-jun leaves. Later, Cha Moo-hee sees Dorami again, even talking to her in the elevator. She panics and overreacts in front of the crew, asking them if they're gossiping and if they want to fire her. Hoo-jun regrets his harsh words, thinking she's already sick and has no family, and he's the only one who knows her truth.
Chamuhee also realizes she behaved badly, so they meet again and apologize. She feels hopeless, thinking she'll lose the project. She wants to change her horror image and prove herself in romance. She says this show will let them travel for 3 months, even see the aurora, but she's still sad. Then her manager calls and tells her the contract is here, and they said yes. Chamuhee immediately begs Hoojan to accept, saying she'll cease language barriers, and with him she'll feel protected. Hoojan complains that she keeps confusing him, but she makes cute faces and tempts him with travel and aurora dreams. Hoojan laughs and agrees. The project begins, and the hero and heroine are revealed. Chamuhee is thrilled because the hero is Guru Sa, the famous romance king. But Guru Sa looks horrified because his heroine is the famous zombie Dorami girl. He can't refuse, though, since he already signed. They arrive in Canada for the first shoot. Chamuhee chooses to stay in the staff hotel instead of the hero hotel, just so her interpreter, Hoojan, stays nearby. Hoojan learns the hero dislikes Chamuhee and will trouble her. The director even tells him to translate harsh words gently so Dorami doesn't feel bad. That makes Hoojan angry, and he says her name is Chamuhee, not Dorami. Chamuhee visits Hoojan's suite, pretending to look for her manager, but she gets caught. She shyly admits she wanted to see him. Then she opens up, saying she often sees Dorami, and Dorami talks to her. But she realizes Dorami is just her fear inside her mind, always telling her that happiness will end. Hoojan asks what Dorami says, but she refuses, saying it would be like opening her entire diary. During shooting, Kurosawa makes Chamuhee chase balloons around the park while he casually rides away on his bicycle. She runs around exhausted, and Hoojan secretly gives her hints, so she finally catches him. Kurosawa mocks her, calling her horror-like Dorami, but Hoojan doesn't translate those insults. He softens everything, keeping the situation calm. Chamuhee shows Kurosawa her maple leaf heart gift, but he acts dramatically, claiming his contact lens has fallen and he can't shoot without his special brand. Everyone panics because missing even 1 day delays everything. Hoojan realizes it's an excuse. Kurosawa just doesn't want to get close to her. Chamuhee later sees him walking around perfectly fine and realizes he lied. Dorami appears in her mind, handing her a stone and telling her to throw it at him, but Chamuhee calms herself down. She cries to Hoojan, saying he was shortening Kurosawa's insults. Hoojan admits he didn't want to hurt her and tells her to be angry at him if she wants, but not ruin the show. Then he bribes Kurosawa with ice hockey tickets, solving the lens issue and saving the shoot. Chamuhee apologizes, and Hoojan says next time she should make him realize she has a stone in her hand, so he won't take her lightly. During the next shoot, Kurosawa is embarrassed. Chamuhee walks up like she's about to attack, but instead she makes a tiny heart with her fingers and says it's her gift. That's the first moment she wins the romance king's heart. Kurosawa thinks, "Why is my heart beating? Did Miss Zombie infect me?" And with that, Chamuhee's second shoot goes really well.
Hoojan recalls Kurosawa saying, "I won't chase her. Let her chase me." But the producer replied, "If she opens your heart, you won't deny it." Kurosawa even promised, "If I start liking her, I'll confess for real." Hoojan felt strangely jealous hearing that. And with that, Chamuhee's second shoot goes really well. As the show moves forward, we start realizing that Chamuhee has actually succeeded, at least a little, in winning Kurosawa's heart. The more he tries to stay away from her, the more her smile and those sparkling eyes keep pulling him closer. Honestly, the man doesn't even notice when his own face starts smiling while looking at her. And of course, the crew members notice it too. Even Kurosawa's assistant is like, "Sir, you're not slick." Now, during one shoot break, Cha Moo-hee is searching for something in the grass while two guys are watching her. And after a while, it becomes obvious. She's looking for a lucky four-leaf clover. The moment she finds one, she gets so happy that even the boys start smiling too. Like her happiness is contagious. Or maybe they just love free good vibes. Everything is going smoothly until suddenly a problem comes up. They find out the producer currently working has some issue, so a new producer is arriving from Korea very soon. That means they get one day off and shooting will restart the day after tomorrow. Everyone is excited. A break in Canada? Rest day? Sightseeing? Perfect. Manager Yoon, Cha Moo-hee's manager, suggests, "Why don't we eat something fun tonight and maybe drink some soju too?" Cha Moo-hee looks super excited. She even starts picking out a really nice dress. And the reason she's this excited? She knows manager Yoon is sharing a room with Hyujin. But when she arrives, surprise, Hyujin isn't there. He's gone to a bookstore because yes, this man loves books like they're oxygen. So Cha Moo-hee eats with a slightly broken heart, sitting there pretending to browse books. Then she starts copying Hyujin. She even puts on glasses and acts like she's reading. Girl really said, if he likes books, I am books. At the same time, we see Hyujin, and guess what? He's thinking about Cha Moo-hee too. He steps outside and spots the same truck where Cha Moo-hee once bought hot dogs during the shoot. And suddenly he's standing at the exact spot where they had eaten together. The official drama couple might be Kurosawa and Cha Moo-hee, but honestly, Hyujin is standing right there like I could replace him anytime. When Hyujin returns, manager Yoon is already drunk and passed out, but Cha Moo-hee is sitting there wearing Hyujin's glasses. The moment she sees him, she panics, puts the book down, but quickly forgets she's still wearing the glasses and walks out nervously. Meanwhile, she keeps thinking, I must look so pretty, right? But Hyujin follows her and says, "Can I have my glasses back?" Cha Moo-hee really wants to ask him to go out with her, talk with her, spend time together, but she gets shy and stays quiet. And then fate decides to step in. Hyujin forgot his key card inside. Manager Yoon is too drunk to answer any calls, so Cha Moo-hee asks, "Now what will you do?" Hyujin says it's fine. The place they're staying in isn't just a hotel, it's basically a castle. There's no management available at night, so he thinks he'll just spend the night in the living area. But then Cha Moo-hee checks her pocket. "Oh no, I left my key card in your suite too." So now she has no choice but to stay with him. Hyujin suggests she go to any female crew member's room, but Cha Moo-hee refuses. She doesn't want to disturb anyone so late. So the two of them sit together in the living room, talking for hours. Cha Moo-hee starts telling him an entire novel worth of stories. He's not even interested, but she's so in love that she could talk about paint drying if Hyujin is listening. And somewhere along the way, she falls asleep. When she wakes up, it's morning. Hyujin tells her, "I'm going to check out the vegetable and fruit market. Do you want to come?" And of course, she does. At the market, she's enjoying everything. Then she's about to walk under a ladder when a woman warns her that brings bad luck. Cha Moo-hee immediately gets nervous because yes, she's full of superstitions. But then she says, "It's okay, 4-leaf clovers are lucky, and I collected 5. She explains she collected them because she wanted the weather to be good so everyone could see the aurora during the shoot. And secretly, she wants to see the aurora with Hyujin. Then she adds, "Actually, it should be 7 clovers, not 5, but I'm sure I'll find the other 2 soon." Later, she goes to the car to put some things away and again starts searching in the grass. She finds another 4-leaf clover. She gets so happy and slips it into Hyujin's coat pocket. She's wearing his coat at the time. Then Hyujin calls her, asking where he parked. She says, "I'll come get you." She runs towards him, excited to tell him she found another clover. But suddenly, she runs straight into Shin. Shin sees Cha Moo-hee and Hyujin together and looks shocked. Cha Moo-hee thinks,
Great, bad luck really followed me. She tries to quietly turn away, but Shin calls out to her. They all walk back together, and Chamu-hee learns the new producer coming from Korea is Shin. Dorami appears again like the universe's personal menace and says, "Told you, bad luck always follows you." Chamu-hee ends up asking Shin directly, "Weren't you supposed to get married in 2 weeks? Why are you here?" Shin replies calmly, "The wedding preparations are done, but work needed me more right now." And we later learn the truth.
Shin and Najin had a huge fight. Their breakup was so intense, they reached the edge of ending everything. Najin was never truly serious about marriage. He was only doing it to fulfill her wish, and that hurt Shin deeply. So she left everything behind and came here. Now it's their day off. Chamu-hee sits alone near a park. Kurosawa, while jogging, spots her and walks over. She tells him in broken English that the crew is waiting for him in a meeting, but he only catches the word wait and thinks, she was waiting for me? He asks, "Why are you so crazy about me?" They don't understand each other's language at all, but Chamu-hee starts talking anyway. It feels good to vent to someone who can't fully understand. She tells him about Hyujin, about Shin returning, about her bad luck. She says, whenever something good is about to happen, something bad happens. And then she says sadly, now who will he watch the aurora with, the one he truly loves? She even wishes the aurora won't appear at all, and she walks away, leaving Kurosawa confused, trying to piece together her words about aurora. That night, everyone has dinner together. Chamu-hee's mood is terrible because Shin and Hyujin are sitting together. She secretly goes to Hyujin and asks, did they fight? Is the wedding postponed? Did they break up? Tell me something. Hyujin says he didn't ask in detail. Then Chamu-hee tells him, why haven't you ever confessed your feelings? If you keep them inside, you'll suffer and she'll keep coming back. She encourages him to open his heart to someone else, to move on. But Hyujin replies, didn't I try? I always tried, but I couldn't move on. Then he says, what do you want? Are you using this as an excuse for me to make you my girlfriend? He bluntly says that can't happen. Chamu-hee is crushed, rejected again. She angrily says, my curse is that your life stays like a horror movie. And she runs to her room, crying. The next day, they head to a special shooting location. The cars drive in a line, but some cars are missing behind. One of them is Hyujin's. He had a small accident and will arrive late. Chamu-hee panics, thinking her curse caused it. That day, her interpreter is another woman, a secondary one, who is also Kurosawa's manager. Chamu-hee sits beside Kurosawa, but her eyes don't sparkle anymore. Kurosawa notices, and in the end, the aurora doesn't appear because the weather turns bad. Shin tells everyone to go back. A hotel is booked nearby. She says she'll stay until morning to shoot the aurora scene. But Kurosawa looks troubled. He keeps thinking, why wasn't she smiling today? Why weren't her eyes shining? His manager says softly, maybe because I couldn't translate properly. Because whenever Chamu-hee listened, the voice she heard was never Kurosawa's. It was always Hyujin's. That morning, just as the night was about to end, Chamu-hee receives a message from Hyujin. She was still awake. The moment she reads it, she runs outside. Hyujin says he wants to show her something. And there it is, the aurora. The sky is glowing with beautiful lights, and Chamu-hee's face instantly lights up too. She's so happy that for a second, all her sadness disappears. Then she says something deep. She tells him about a girl who once taught her boyfriend how to eat with chopsticks. Even after they broke up, whenever he saw chopsticks, he still remembered her. And then Chamu-hee says softly, my wish is, whenever you see the aurora, you remember me. Hyujin freezes, because he understands exactly what she means. And we also find out something important. That night in the living room, Chamu-hee actually did have her keycard. She hid it on purpose, just so she could spend time with Hoojan. Girl really planned the whole thing like a romantic crime scene. Seeing him worried, she quickly jokes, "Why are you stressed? Aurora never appears in Seoul anyway, so you won't even have a chance to remember me." And we learn why the Aurora appeared, because the 7th clover was found too. During the accident, Hoojan had been searching through the grass and unknowingly found it. Whether he wanted to or not, Chamu-hee was always on his mind. Chamu-hee watches the aurora and secretly wishes her love could finally come true, that she could stay with Hoojan forever. But then she says, "I want to go inside. I can't bear watching it disappear." As they go back, her room door gets stuck because of the freezing cold. Hoojan struggles hard to open it. Meanwhile, Chamu-hee, being Chamu-hee, starts talking non-stop. She casually says, "Kurosawa is really handsome. I've seen him up close. His body is great, and when he smiles, you can even see his dimples." Hoojan pauses. Jealousy instantly activates. He leans forward and says, "You don't need to go close to see dimples." And then, in pure dramatic rage, he pushes the door so hard that it finally opens. Before leaving, he mutters, "You ate marshmallows with Kurosawa today, right? Your face is swollen." Sir, that is not swelling. That is called jealousy. Meanwhile, Shin hasn't told anyone she canceled her wedding. She's hiding it. But manager Yoon accidentally finds out after overhearing Najin's call. Shin threatens him, "If you tell the crew, I'll break your legs." Later, Shin is struggling emotionally. She thinks the only way Najin will forget her forever is if she cheats once. Manager Yoon, being the soft-hearted guy he is, keeps caring for her. When she hurts her ankle, he bandages it. Shin asks, "Why do you care so much?" He says, "Because you're heartbroken and you're not that kind of girl." Then he suddenly kisses her, and Shin whispers, "I pulled the trigger. I cheated." Back at the shoot, the next day they're filming in a park. Chamu-hee warns Kurosawa with body language that there might be bears. The way she explains without words is honestly adorable. Kurosawa finds himself getting attracted to her, even if he doesn't want to. She gives him warm pads and he takes them, then throws them away. Like, why am I thinking about her so much? Meanwhile, Chamu-hee and Hoojan walk far into the park. Hoojan says he visited this park as a child. There's a waterfall ahead, but he doesn't remember the exact way. Chamu-hee jokes, "So it's not a lake, it's waterfall water." Then she starts splashing water with her hands and says, "Look, our waterfall is right here now." She looks so beautiful. Hoojan stares at her lovingly, and Chamu-hee can't control herself. She steps closer and kisses him. Then she immediately runs away, lying, "Dorami forced me to do it." Sure, Dorami. Always Dorami. After that, she avoids him. That evening, everyone plays games. Chamu-hee stands with Kurosawa, trying to help the acting team win. Hoojan watches from far away, thinking, "Look at them scheming together." Even though they can't even understand each other's language properly, Jealousy speaks fluent. He joins the game, challenges Kurosawa fiercely, and wins. Production team wins overall. Kurosawa hates losing, but since his partner was Chamu-hee, he accepts it and says, "I enjoyed it. Party is on me." Someone tells Hoojan, "I heard you've liked a girl for a long time, but you never tell who." At that moment, Shin is visible nearby. Hoojan looks at her, and Chamu-hee sees him looking. Her heart sinks. She thinks, "I pulled him closer, and still he won't come near me." She says goodbye to everyone, saying she'll rest. She's leaving for Korea the next morning. That night, she lies in bed upset, unable to sleep. Dorami appears on TV again, saying, "You're the bad luck king." She starts hallucinating. Dorami is holding a gun, Hoojan is tied up, and Dorami asks, "Is Shin still in your heart? Can't Chamu-hee replace her?" This triggers her childhood trauma. Her past was dark. She had witnessed terrible accidents. She stays awake all night. Next morning, as she's about to leave, Hoojan comes and says, "I'll drop you."
On the drive, he says, "I've decided. I will talk to Shin and close that chapter. I can't move forward until I clear the past." Chamuhi becomes happy. He plays an English song, and that song becomes tied to their memories. Even though she doesn't fully understand the lyrics, she loves it. At the airport, Manager Yoon tells her shocking news. Shin has broken up with her boyfriend. The wedding is canceled. Chamuhi panics. She feels insecure, like she'll lose. She abandons her flight and runs back. She finds out Hoo-jeon is at a bookstore, but she arrives too late. Hoo-jeon is already sitting with Shin. Shin is explaining her breakup. Chamuhi watches them smiling, and Dorami's voice in her mind says, "Your story will never have a happy ending. Run away." She starts leaving, but Hoo-jeon sees her. He runs after her and stops her. She breaks down, saying, "Now that Shin is single, your first love will bloom again. You'll go back to her. I knew I would lose." But Hoo-jeon says something powerful. He says, "Remember the train tracks in Japan? This time, I thought I would cross over to you." Then he says, "Fight yourself. Defeat Dorami. Because the person who already accepts defeat in their heart can never win." And he walks away. Chamuhi cries at the airport. She drinks heavily, sleeps through the flight. When she wakes up, Kurosawa is the one waking her. She missed her flight and is now on the next one, and Kurosawa is on the same flight. 2 weeks later, back in Korea, Chamuhi attends an event and sees Hoo-jeon there as an interpreter. He looks at her but doesn't sit beside her, even though the seat booked by his uncle is right next to hers. After the event, Uncle and Chamuhi end up in the elevator together. Uncle says, "That interpreter is with me. His name is Hoo-jeon." Downstairs, Hoo-jeon is standing there. Awkward reunion. Uncle invites her to dinner and brings her home. Chamuhi agrees partly because Manager Yoon is renting a room in Hoo-jeon's house these days. Uncle is mischievous. He tells Hoo-jeon, "You cook," then leaves them alone in the kitchen on purpose. After dinner, Uncle tells Hoo-jeon, "This girl is wonderful. You two would suit each other." Outside, Hoo-jeon hears Chamuhi listening to that same English song. She tries to leave while hiding something. Hoo-jeon catches her. "You're not a good thief." He searches her. She stole the DVD. He says, "I kept this song for you. I wanted to give it to you, but you stole it instead." Chamuhi leaves in a taxi, only to realize she took just the cover, not the actual DVD.
Worst thief in history. Hoo-jeon realizes too. He calls her, teasing, "You're so bad at stealing. I'm coming to deliver it. Send me your address." Chamuhi smiles brightly and messages him. She waits outside her house, excited. She thinks everything will finally be okay. But then her aunt and uncle arrive, yelling at her. Reporters have started digging into her childhood, and her childhood is extremely dark. We learn the truth. Her mother killed her father on her birthday using cake. The trauma breaks her. Dorami appears again, telling her, "You deserve this. Give me your body." A split personality takes over. Chamuhi is no longer herself. She becomes Dorami. And this isn't the first time. Earlier on the plane, Dorami had used her body to kiss Kurosawa. That's why Kurosawa had been upset that she never contacted him again. One day, Hoo-jeon finds Chamuhi sitting in his library. He says, "What is wrong with you? You ignore me at your house, and now you sneak into mine?" But she replies coldly, "She was crazy. I'm not. I don't beg for love. I kill people." Hoo-jeon finally understands. This isn't Chamuhi. This is Dorami. And the episode ends here. Stay connected to see what happens next. Hoo-jeon honestly couldn't believe a word Chamuhi was saying. In his mind, she was just acting again. And let's be real, she's always been a top-tier actress. But now she was pretending to be Dorami too. He snaps, "I don't trust anything you say. Leave my house right now." But this wasn't the simple, obedient Chamuhi. This was Dorami. And Dorami does not take orders. She stands outside for a moment, waits for the right chance, and then literally runs back into his house like, "Nice try, darling."
As soon as she gets inside, she mixes something into his water and hides. And yes, our hero drinks it. The second he does, his heart starts racing and he feels dizzy. Dorami steps out calmly and says, "When I wake up, I'm often Chamuhi, and I didn't want you and her alone together because I came here to destroy your relationship." And the moment she says that, Hujan passes out on the sofa. Next morning, he wakes up completely shocked. He still thinks she was acting, but then he realizes, wow, she drugged my water. Wow, that's not acting. That's crime with confidence. Later, when he reaches the show set, he sees Chamuhi standing there. She came to return the dress she accidentally took from the shoot. But then a torn piece of paper falls from her pocket. Chamuhi has no idea where it came from, but we know. It was the same paper Dorami was reading in the library yesterday. Hujan looks at her expression and immediately understands. That really was Dorami in my house. Dorami wasn't just causing chaos, she was living her best life, doing everything Chamuhi never could, like barging into her uncle's house during a church ceremony for a newborn baby, and giving her uncle and aunt the most savage reality check ever. She basically dropped emotional bombs everywhere, but of course, no swearing. Even Dorami has standards. Church is her no-cross line. Meanwhile, Kurosawa is also falling hard for her bold personality. He meets her and demands an explanation. "You promised to meet me. Why didn't you call? And you kissed me." Chamuhi is completely confused. She doesn't even understand his language properly, but with gestures and broken English, she gets the message, and she realizes Dorami has been running wild behind her back. Now Chamuhi starts noticing strange gaps in her memory. People talk to her about things she never did, and Hujan, after thinking deeply, finally accepts the truth. Dorami really exists. He remembers Chamuhi once saying, "Dorami lives in my mind. I want to win, not her. Stay on my side." Their show was supposed to continue in Italy. Hujan originally planned not to go, but now he goes anyway because he doesn't want Dorami to win. He wants Chamuhi to win. In Italy, Dorami greets him with her playful attitude, calling him darling, darling, like it's her full-time job. That day at lunch, she goes on a shopping spree so massive that her credit card limit literally collapses. Hujan says, "This money is Chamuhi's. You can't waste it like this." Then he pulls a genius move. Since Dorami doesn't know Italian, he returns all the expensive dresses. The refund will go back into Chamuhi's account in 3 days, meaning Dorami can't shop anymore. Dorami is basically grounded financially. Hujan starts talking to her, trying to understand her weakness, and she finally admits, "When we get extremely sad or extremely happy, our personalities switch." Now, Hujan tries to make her emotional enough so Chamuhi can come back, and finally, it works. But Dorami, being Dorami, pulls one last trick. She sends Kurosawa a photo and calls him there. So the moment Chamuhi returns, she freezes. Kurosawa is standing there, Hujan is standing there, and she's stuck in the middle like the world's most stressful love triangle sandwich. Soon, their Italy shoot begins. Chamuhi is singing opera lyrics in Italian, shocked that she remembers them. The reason? Hujan taught them to Dorami, and since they share overlapping memories, Chamuhi can sing them too. That only deepens her suspicion. When she checks her photo gallery, it's full of photos she doesn't remember taking. Flashback shows Dorami spent the entire day partying, dinner with Kurosawa, snacks with Hujan, drinks, shopping, and endless teasing. Hujan, the most serious man alive, is standing there thinking, "My life has turned into a circus and Dorami is the ringmaster." Then Dorami proudly tells him, "Oh, and I also went to Chamuhi's uncle's house and got revenge in church." Hujan doesn't even scold her. He actually says, "Well, good job." Then he adds softly, "Sometimes I even feel sorry for you." Dorami smirks, "Don't, I'm ruthless." And then she crosses the line. She steals Kurosawa's camera from the shoot. Hujan loses it. First mischief, now theft. Dorami says, Relax, I stole it so Chamuhi can return it tomorrow, and their bond will become unbeatable. He'll even give her opera tickets. Her goal? Make Kurosawa and Chamuhi closer and erase Hujan from her life. Because Darami believes Hujan has hurt Chamuhi too much. Hujan is stuck. He wants Darami gone, but he's also jealous. So he secretly returns the camera himself, saving Chamuhi from being labeled a thief. But Chamuhi remains sad. Seeing the aurora reminds her of her old love, and she becomes emotional, and the moment she does, Darami takes over again. Kurosawa notices her suddenly crying, then laughing, then changing. He starts quietly following her. Darami turns around and makes her signature movie-style gesture. Kurosawa's eyes widen. That's Darami. For Hujan, the biggest red flag is simple. Whenever she calls him darling, Darami is back. And today, Darami reveals the darkest truth. Chamuhi's mother is a murderer. She killed her father and even tried to kill Chamuhi. The world found out, and her family hated her, believing, like mother, like daughter. Darami becomes emotional and hugs Hujan. I want to disappear from her life, but for that, you must leave her. If you say goodbye, I'll vanish too.
One night, all the colleagues are having dinner together, and at the same time, Hujan is secretly walking around with Darami. By coincidence, the team is about to spot them, so Hujan quickly hides her under his coat and slips away. And honestly, that looked so suspicious that the coworkers instantly start thinking, wait, Mr. Hujan grew up in Italy. Does he have an Italian girlfriend? And of course, the next day, Chamuhi overhears this rumor on set. Her heart sinks. So he rejected me in 2 minutes, but suddenly he has a whole Italian love story at night? A misunderstanding is officially born. Meanwhile, Kurosawa and Chamuhi's pairing on set is going amazingly. Their chemistry is literally exploding on screen. Next, their shoot is supposed to happen at a winery. The previous location had issues, so they arrange a new one. And plot twist, it belongs to Hujan's mom. The next day, there's also going to be a wedding event there. No one knows whose winery it is, but Hujan's mom is thrilled. After years, she'll finally see her son. Because yes, there were misunderstandings between mother and son, and they've been in a Cold War for a long time. But now, that Cold War is about to end. When the shoot is almost over, Chamuhi notices a photo and suddenly connects the dots. This is your mom's winery, isn't it? She gets so happy and asks, have you met your son yet? His mom smiles sadly. He must be busy. Then Chamuhi removes her earpods and hands them over. Look at the camera. He's watching you. They wave hello in front of everyone. It's awkward, sweet, and emotional. But then Hujan walks in and immediately dumps all his frustration on Chamuhi. She's like, how was I supposed to know you two were fighting? Chamuhi insists, you have to meet her properly. She made food for you. Hujan says, and you're coming too. Chamuhi blinks. Me? He replies, she can't cook. Why should I suffer alone? You'll eat it too. Honestly, that's not romance. That's revenge dinner. Then Chamuhi notices a handsome Italian man walking inside. Isn't that the guy getting married tomorrow? Why is he going in? They follow and find him standing with Hujan's mom checking her burnt hand. Hujan sees this and instantly loses it. Stay away from my mom. And before anyone can explain, boom, full misunderstanding fight. Hujan and the man start throwing hands like it's an action movie audition. Finally, mom stops them and drops the real bomb. This is your future stepfather. I'm marrying him tomorrow. Silence. Then chaos. Mother and son explode with years of buried anger. She says, how could I tell you? You never answered my calls. Hujan says, and uncle never told me. Turns out, uncle was saving it as a surprise. In the middle of all this, Chamuhi purposely falls down dramatically to distract them, because yes, she sacrifices herself for peace. Hujan catches on. Why did you fake falling? You could have hurt yourself. Chamuhi shrugs. At least your Cold War ended. My injury wasn't a waste. Now we learn the deeper backstory.
Hoojan's mom was much younger than his dad, once his student. Their love story ended badly, but she still deserves happiness and a new life. Their biggest fight happened because Hoojan published a novel based on his parents' love story, and his mom felt her private life was exposed. They both regretted it later, but the communication link was already broken. Finally, they reconcile. Chamuhi and the future stepdad are genuinely happy. Next day is the wedding ceremony. Everyone attends. Hoojan watches Chamuhi quietly. He wants her life to be peaceful, and Dorami's condition was clear. If you leave her, I'll disappear. So Hoojan decides he will distance himself from Chamuhi. He grabs a strong wine bottle. His mom notices. Why are you drinking so heavily? Did that actress break your heart? Hoojan denies it. Mom sighs. You've always been like this, hurt inside but pretending you're fine. And yes, Hoojan is in pain. Meanwhile, Chamuhi is still obsessed with one thing, finding out about the Italian girlfriend. She even tries reading Italian messages on his phone and gets caught. She was a terrible spy. Now, Hoojan has already made his painful decision. With a stone on his heart, he tells her, I want you to live the glory you dreamed of. He knows if Dorami stays, Chamuhi's illness one day will be exposed. So he says goodbye and walks away. Then comes the final day of the shoot, the same scene we saw at the very beginning. It's the last day, and Kurosawa has completely fallen for Chamuhi. In front of everyone, he confesses his love. Chamuhi panics and whispers to Hoojan, What do I say? Tell me. Hoojan, cold and professional, replies, Say whatever you want. I'll translate. That line shatters her heart. Chamuhi says, I don't need you. And then, in English, she answers Kurosawa, I was very happy working with you. Thank you so much for everything. And I have the same feelings for you. Hoojan feels like he's been bitten by a snake. Everyone leaves, but he stays sitting there, frozen. One crew member, who understands their chemistry too well, secretly records Hoojan's reaction. Meanwhile, manager Yoon tells Kurosawa excitedly, so she likes you. But Kurosawa quietly says, No, I was rejected long ago. He was smart enough to notice. Chamuhi looked more hurt than happy, and the interpreter was far too close. After the show, Kurosawa gives Chamuhi opera tickets. They go together, VIP seats. But suddenly, Chamuhi remembers something and rushes out.
Outside, she meets Kurosawa's manager, who says, That night at dinner, we saw Hoojan with his girlfriend, and her heels were exactly like yours. Chamuhi freezes. Those heels are limited edition, meaning that girlfriend was Dorami. She stands there in shock, and then the crew member sends her footage, a message. Whenever you spoke, Hoojan's expressions were shown on screen too, so if he could see you, you deserve to see him. The video shows Hoojan crying after her confession. Chamuhi breaks. All memories crash back. Dorami. All the moments Dorami spent with Hoojan. He had no other girlfriend. And Dorami's condition, if he leaves you, I'll leave too. Now Chamuhi understands everything. She cries uncontrollably. As she's about to leave, Hoojan arrives. Chamuhi says firmly, I know everything, all the moments you spent with Dorami. Hoojan is shocked. She was supposed to erase the memories. Chamuhi whispers, How could she? You live inside those memories. And then, Hoojan kisses her. He says, Now I won't let you run away in fear, and I won't run either. This is the time to understand our emotions. And that's where the story truly turns from chaos into love. Finally, Chamuhi and Hoojan are truly together. But Chamuhi has always carried one fear deep inside, that whenever she finds something beautiful in life, it eventually gets taken away. So she worries, what if we also get separated someday? Hoojan gently tells her, if it happens, it happens, but we won't live in tomorrow's anxiety, we'll live in the present. And the present is, I'm yours and you're mine. That instantly makes her smile. Soon, he takes her to his house in Italy, a place that's been locked up for years. It's antique, over 100 years old, basically the kind of house that looks romantic until the electricity decides to betray you. Hoojan starts cooking while Cha Moo-hee is blow-drying her hair, but then the wiring breaks, the lights go out, and in the darkness, while trying to protect her, Hoojan gets a little too romantic. And our hero and heroine finally spend some real quality time together. On the other side, we see Kurosawa. He looks sad, but he's pretending to be strong. He already knows Cha Moo-hee loves Hoojan. That's why when she was crying outside the opera, he didn't force her to stay. Instead, he told her, "Don't enjoy opera with me. Go and hold on to the person you truly love." Kurosawa really was an amazing character. But as always, trouble can never stay away from Cha Moo-hee for long. Soon, a propaganda storm begins on social media. People start accusing her of dating a married man, her first boyfriend, who is now married to a Japanese woman. The truth? That man cheated on Cha Moo-hee, but the internet twists it into a completely different story. They claim the Japanese woman's baby is his, they're married, and Cha Moo-hee tried to break their home. Her image starts collapsing, and the worst part is, her next project is a romantic drama. Now people are saying she doesn't even fit the romantic heroine image anymore. In the end, she decides to meet her ex-boyfriend and his wife face to face. Her ex tells her, "I'm ready to explain everything. You were never the cheater. I was." Meanwhile, people also start reposting an old photo from April 8th, the one she once uploaded from Japan and deleted later. It's a side pose, and from that angle, her ex-boyfriend looks almost like Hoojan. So everyone assumes it was him. That's why she's being blamed for ruining a marriage. Her crew begins investigating to clear her name, and Shin notices something too. The date, April 8th, that island. She realizes something is definitely wrong, and she also figures out that that man in the photo is Hoojan. Now the pressure on Cha Moo-hee grows even worse. She starts thinking, if people are already reaching my ex-boyfriend, his wife, even her former husband, what will they do to my current boyfriend? They'll poison our life. She doesn't want Hoojan, serious and conservative, to face this brutal media chaos. So she tells him, "Give me 1 month. I'll solve everything. Only then will we meet." After many days, Hoojan finally comes back to his library and sees a girl standing there wearing a dorami-style gown. She's acting like Dorami, but it takes him 1 second to recognize her. He says, "You can call me darling 100 times, but this drama-style acting won't work. You're trying to make me leave, pretending Dorami is back, but that's not happening." And just like that, all of Cha Moo-hee's acting collapses. She admits the truth. This time, she really was pretending. Dorami never came back. Just like she promised, she was gone forever. Eventually, Cha Moo-hee clears everything up with her ex-boyfriend and his wife. She posts proof online, and the controversy finally dies. She apologizes to her team. "You all suffered because of me." And she feels ashamed in front of Kurosawa too. But the staff tells her, "Kurosawa fully supported you. Even from Japan, he handled the media and defended you." Cha Moo-hee feels deeply grateful. Later, when they sit together watching the final edit of the show, they talk. Cha Moo-hee always believed that Kurosawa's "I love you" on the last shoot day was just part of the script, but she learns from the assistant director it wasn't scripted at all. He meant it. Now she feels awkward, thinking, how do I even ask, was it real? She assumes he won't understand, but this time Kurosawa has learned Korean much better. He looks at her and says, "I understand from your words. Yes, it's true. I'm embarrassed, but I really did fall in love with you.
At first, I called you a zombie. I hated you. But the reality is, I fell for you. Meanwhile, Hoojan is traveling by train to Busan, and Shin sits beside him. This time, he doesn't want to run away. He has moved on. Someone else is now precious to him. Hoojan tells Shin everything. I loved you from the start, but I was shattered when I found out you were my brother's girlfriend. I stayed stuck in that first love for so long, but now I've finally moved on. Shin smiles and says, well, I'm not becoming your sister-in-law, but someone has come into my life who loves me the way I deserve. Najin always treated marriage like a burden, but Shin never wanted that kind of love. Finally, the day comes when the weight lifts off Hoojan completely. He and Shin say goodbye, forever. Kurosawa also gives Chamu-hee his best wishes for her future. And after so long, Chamu-hee finally goes to meet her boyfriend again. That night, they sit together watching the stars. Chamu-hee says softly, the stars don't look that clear here. I want a night where the whole sky is filled with stars. Hoojan smiles. There is a place like that, and one day I'll take you there.
Chamu-hee always felt that Dorami was someone she kept seeing, but deep down, she also sensed Dorami wasn't just some random hallucination. It was like Dorami was her inner childhood self, showing up whenever her past trauma got too heavy. But now, Dorami had completely stopped appearing. Even her psychiatrist had hinted before. Maybe Dorami isn't imaginary. Maybe she's just a memory. Chamu-hee never understood that until today, because her aunt finally reveals the truth. We hate you because you look exactly like your mother. The face Chamu-hee sees in the mirror every day was her mother's face. At the same time, Hoojan's uncle shows him an old photograph, little Chamu-hee sitting beside her mother, and her mother looked exactly like Dorami. Not only her face, even her personality was just like that ruthless Dorami from the horror movie. And the moment Chamu-hee realizes this truth, the shock hits her so hard that she collapses unconscious. When she wakes up, memories she had buried for years start returning. Her mother had poisoned her husband and then tried to poison Chamu-hee too. She forced her daughter to eat the same poisoned cake, but Chamu-hee refused, and in desperation, she jumped off the balcony. That fall left her traumatized forever. When she regains consciousness again, Hoojan comes to her side, and then he tells her another secret, something she never knew. The day she fell, the police arrived quickly, and they rescued her parents. Chamu-hee had pretended she lost all memory of the accident, so everyone kept the truth hidden from her. But the reality was, her mother and father survived. They were alive, living abroad, separately in their own worlds. Meaning, the girl who spent her whole life believing she was an orphan was never actually alone. And the hallucinations she kept seeing, they weren't random. They were her mother's shadow from the past. The same mother who had once told her, "You will never be happy. Eat the cake and die." Now, for her psychological healing, Chamu-hee makes a decision. She will go meet her mother. She tracks down her address and leaves. Hoojan insists, "Take me with you," but Chamu-hee softly says, "You once said, if we're meant to separate, we will. That's always been my biggest fear. So today, I'm leaving you for a while. But when I come back, I'll date you all over again, and I'll win your heart once more." Like Girl really said, Season 2 romance loading. After finally meeting her mother, after clearing everything, Chamu-hee returns as a normal, healed version of herself. And once again, she and Hoojan go out together under the stars. This time, Chamu-hee is the one courting him. She smiles and says, "I love you so much. You're so handsome. I missed you." And our hero doesn't waste even a second. He accepts her completely. And just like that, the story reaches its happy ending. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.